Hello, Mount Rudmore here, aka Nick, and I am back to talk about BB26. My last stream was on Monday, and a couple things have happened since Monday, not least of which an eviction. So yeah, I got a lot to get to, so I'm just gonna get right into it. Uh, but I'm gonna start off with Wednesday night's episode, the veto episode. Um, yeah, let's just get into it. There is a very poorly aged, like it was already poorly aged by the time it aired, DR from T-Core about stepping back after making such a big move. Tikor's like, surely I won't make another big move. Brooklyn, this one was really cringe. She compared Tucker to the big bad wolf, and she's Little Red Robin Hood. Yeah, I had to do a legit face palm for that one because that was my reaction to the actual episode. Little Red Robin Hood. Ugh. She's from Texas. Anyway, we get some clarity on why Angela was looking so upset, just kind of laying on the floor, like all spread out, like, Turns out Brooklyn and a couple other people, but Brooklyn seemed to be leading the charge, were eating Angela's charcuterie food that she got as part of her HOH reign, but she can't eat it this week because she's a have-not because she was the first one to fall off the wall. So, on the one hand, don't eat somebody else's food, at least not without asking. On the other hand, I couldn't help but feel that Angela's reaction to it was a little over the top. Like she's just literally laying on the floor, like sitting on the floor in front of the diary room couch, and it's like, okay, this is a little too extra for me, but it's Angela, so of course it's extra. So we get to picking players for the veto competition. Of course, Tucker is playing, as are his nominees, Brooklyn, Cam, and Quinn. The first name pulled is Mackenzie, and the second name pulled is Tucker. And Tucker decides to let Joseph play in his fourth veto competition out of five. Like, would have been one thing if Joseph got, like, just got his name pulled, but it's really kind of interesting that Joseph has yet to be nominated, and he's played in 4 out of 5 veto competitions. It's like, why would you even pick him? Why not pick Rubina? She hasn't played in a veto comp yet. T-Core also hasn't played in one. Just pick one of them. But Tucker and Joseph are pretty tight at this point. So we see the incident that got Quinn in trouble with Tucker again. And Tucker has a diary room segment saying that he's annoyed that Quinn couldn't stay quiet, but Brooklyn's selling him out like she did. Makes him uncomfortable. So we see the competition. It's the return of Hide and Go Veto, as we all know. Great to see it again. And Brooklyn went for the Brett strategy of playing defense, but it backfired. The reason it worked for Brett well, okay, there were 2 reasons it worked for Brett. First of all, he actually hit it in a decent spot instead of just in a duffel bag. Second of all, he built the room up as a mess over time instead of just making it a mess all at once and making it very obvious that someone's trying to hide it. And also, Quinn went in there, and Quinn knows the show pretty well, so he would know BB20, he would know Brett's strategy. To be fair, that is the most memorable hide and go veto win I've ever seen. So yeah, Quinn saw that this room was suspiciously extra messy already and dug through it and found Brooklyn's um memory card. I was trying to remember what they were officially called this time. Cam finds Quinn's. Tucker finds Mackenzie's. I gotta say, I thought Mackenzie actually had a pretty decent strategy. I would not have thought to look there, but Tucker, he's got some real insight. So you gotta respect it. We see Brooklyn gleefully taking her frustration out on Tucker's clothes, which we knew about, but also T-Core. And I don't know, that one hurt a little more to me. Like, most of T-Core's clothes, she made herself. And listen, I can almost understand being mad at Tucker. You know, he's the HOH to put you up. I get it. But T-Core just, T-Core didn't make her, T-Core made a big move, but she didn't make it specifically to screw Brooklyn. She made the move, for her own game. And Brooklyn just happened to be caught in the crossfire. So I found sabotaging T-Core's clothes a little petty. But she does find one eventually. And Cam finds the last one. So we go through it. As we know, Quinn found Brooklyn's. Cam found Quinn's. Tucker found Mackenzie's. Brooklyn found Cam's. And then the last one Cam found was Joseph. Who, by the way, Joseph was not trying to win this challenge, and he almost did. And I gotta say, I've seen people win by sticking it like between the drawers. If I was in this house, that's something I would have looked into. So I'm just saying, I don't mean to toot my own horn, and I don't mean to sound like I'm better than a guy who's won 6 competitions in the first 5 weeks, but I would have looked where Tucker hid his memory card. So we see Tucker getting mad at Quinn because he thinks Quinn messed with his clothes. And something I was wondering was if Brooklyn intentionally did it to frame Quinn. Because if she did, I said this before, I would have to give her credit for that. But no, it just sort of worked out that way. So not really, nothing really to praise Brooklyn for. And besides, everyone pretty quickly figured out she did it anyway. So we get to the veto meeting, and Tucker says, "Hope y'all sitting comfortably, because some people are about to get real uncomfortable." He thrives on having the house at his mercy. Thrives on it. He outs the collective. He outs the Pentagon. He outs that they were targeting him. He calls Brooklyn and Chelsea the leaders. Uses the veto on Quinn. Nominates Chelsea. They didn't show the outburst, so it's like, okay, we gotta wait for the eviction episode to see the aftermath. Okay, so on to the feeds. By the way, hello to my first viewer. Just noticed you. Brooklyn and Chelsea are denying the existence of the Pentagon at this point, and Rabina and Kimo begin to wonder: did Quinn lie to us about it? Like, Quinn's told so many lies that even though he's admitting to them now, they still can't trust him. They also don't really trust Joseph too much, and they've noticed that he has something going on with Tucker. Like, they're really close, and they suspect that they have a final two with each other. Rabina, Tikor, and Kimo ask Quinn about the Pentagon, and he tells them everything. Again, Quinn's being honest now. Not really helping him, but he's being honest. He insists that his relationships with them were real, and he insists. Sorry, I think I read that wrong. He insists that the Pentagon was real. Quinn says he's not going after Tucker now and will keep Chelsea. And I'm thinking the Chelsea part might be true. But why wouldn't he go after Tucker? Tucker has been a thorn in his side for a while. Chelsea tells Tucker she's not mad and won't come after him. And I'm like, okay, this is some more BS because who wouldn't go after Tucker if the opportunity presents itself? Mackenzie warns Tucker about the Underdogs Alliance. Quinn, Joseph, Hecor, Kimo, and Rabina. She still hasn't noticed that Tucker is with them, minus Quinn. Um, their Sixth Avenue, and Mackenzie hasn't noticed Angela's part of it. And Tucker tells them that MJ is suspicious of them. Tikor talks to Brooklyn. Tikor feels bad at how everything has gone since flipping the vote. Brooklyn cries at being shunned over being loyal to her people. And then Brooklyn starts pitching Cam to leave so that there will be a 7-4 female advantage. And to that, all I have to say is that happened in BB23, and the final two were two men. In fact, the final four was three men. So, yeah. And also, BB17, final 11, it was 7-4. Steve won. So, doesn't mean anything. But Tikor is considering it. Says she wants her, Chelsea, to win the AI arena. And Tikor says she wants a final five of them, her in Brooklyn, Chelsea, Kimo, and Rabina. And Brooklyn's like, that's what I want too. Because that's what Tikor clearly wants to hear. And I'm thinking in this moment, Tikor, you're kind of slipping a little bit. If that's really the final five you want, you are slipping. Tikor tells Chelsea that she's keeping her, prepping herself. Like, this is prepping herself for going after Tucker by keeping Chelsea as a number for her and taking out Cam. Her, Kimo, Chelsea, her, Kimo, Chelsea slash Brooklyn, depending on which one comes off the block, are numbers to do this. So that's three. Quinn could flip Rabina, possible. Brooklyn tells Quinn she didn't out their final two to Tucker. Quinn believes her, and he asks Joseph if he did it, which he did, but Joseph obviously denies. But Quinn doesn't seem to care too much. Quinn still is kind of trusting Joseph, maybe a little more than he should. Joseph's just like keeping him as cannon fodder for later, at best. Leah tells Tucker she doesn't like how Brooklyn and Chelsea have been talking about her. Mackenzie comes in and Leah doesn't want her there, and the way they talk about it is very passive aggressive and very cringy. Kimo tells Rabina he's worried about Tucker getting closer to Mackenzie and Leah than he is to them. Rabina talks to Tikor about it, and seeing Tucker come out of the HOH room with MJ and Leah doesn't help matters. Tigor and Kimo tell Rabina they want to flip on Cam. Rabina says she's on board, but I'm like, we'll see if she turns on Tuck this early. Tucker, sorry. But again, I haven't written as Tuck. I didn't have this problem in previous seasons, I swear. I mean, he would have just been T, but that's what T-Core is. And they also, T-Core and Kimo tell Rabina about wanting a Final Five with three of them, Chelsea and Brooklyn. And again, Rabina says yes, but may not stick with it, in my eyes. Joseph does a camera talk about having a rough day and he's going to lay low to make people feel bad for him. But the thing is, people feel uncomfortable about his gameplay and they don't trust him, so when they don't see him around too much, they're all just kind of like, what's Joseph up to? So this might not be as good a strategy as he thinks it is. Joseph tells Leah she's his favorite person in the house. Tells her that he doesn't like the perception that he's playing scared. I mean, maybe if you weren't throwing all the competitions you're in, then maybe you might have a point, but I don't know. When you throw as many competitions as him, then, you know, it's hard not to feel that way at least a little bit. I mean, Hide and Go Vita was the closest he came to winning, and that was an accident. He was still trying to throw it. Tucker and Brooklyn talk. Brooklyn feels that his words were attacks beyond game, and it wasn't even verified information. Tucker says he was trained by the CIA, and he verified it, just with his observations from his training. Tucker also tells her he knows about the clothes. He calls her game fake and says she has no poker face. Brooklyn agrees to that and asks, why would I keep lying since I have no poker face? Tucker says it's because you're backed into a corner. This conversation's very messy. And let's just say neither one of them came out of it less interested in targeting the other. Chelsea apologizes to Joseph for coming at him in the veto meeting hubbub, whatever it may be, because at this point we still haven't seen it. And, this is showing that Chelsea is definitely playing socially better than Brooklyn. So Chelsea has that advantage going for her. And like I got the sense that she was probably just telling everyone what they wanted to hear, but probably in the diary room she's just trashing them, but being like, I gotta put on a friendly face. And we had confirmation last night that that's exactly what she was doing. But Big Brother is a social game, and you gotta make people like you, or you're not gonna win. So, you know, that's part of the reason I'm still not big on Angela. T-Core and Kimo reconnect after spending much of the day apart. I know, really tough for them to be apart for so long. They're basically attached to each other. So, yeah. But they finally reconnect. They're still committed to flipping on Cam. But I'm thinking a second major vote flip, this time on a different side of the house from last week. I think it would just make them bigger targets. Like, those two sides might even come together and be like, hey, these two are kind of running the show. You want to just take care of them, or at least get rid of one of them and leave the other one adrift. So that's that's how I felt. I just realized I did not turn on the power strip, so my laptop is unplugged. 1 second, please. Sorry about that. So Rabina asked Tucker, "Do you have a final two with Joseph?" Tucker denies it. He then warns Joseph about it and says that Rabina doesn't really trust him. And at this point, so much of Sixth Avenue does not trust each other. I mean, I don't think anyone really trusts Joseph. I think only Tucker truly trusts Angela. Ticor and Kimo certainly don't trust Tucker that much. I think the ironic part is that Joseph probably does trust all of them, but none of them trust him. Because no one can get a read on Joseph. And once upon a time, that was a good way to play the game. But now people need to be able to read something. So yeah, sometimes I feel like Joseph might be the last man standing in this game. Other times I feel like they're gonna clip him just if they can't get to Tucker. Mackenzie, she's on a religious tear throughout the day. Separation of church and Big Brother. Leah tells her to not let anyone use her faith against her. And Mackenzie's going around telling everyone she's closest to Tucker. So, she may be sort of trying to get ahead of Joseph in that regard. You know, Joseph really trusts Tucker, but Mackenzie also really trusts Tucker. So if we can't get Tucker, then let's get the one who's winning more competitions, which would be Mackenzie. She won the power, and she won in the AI arena last week. So yeah, probably not a smart move on her part, but Mackenzie has not really been known for making smart moves. In fact, she's not really known for making moves. I told you, once she didn't have her power anymore, she was going to have no game whatsoever. And I was right. Chelsea tells T-Core and Kimo that she'll vote out Brooklyn. She won't target Tucker, which isn't quite what they want to hear, but they still want to keep her. Joseph says that he sees T-Core, Kimo, and Rabina as a tight trio. Tucker agrees, but he thinks they're loyal. Joseph warns him they might go for him sooner. But Tucker's like, eh. Tucker is not overly concerned about facing elimination at basically every waking moment. He just says to Joseph, work with Quinn if I go. My chair just sank on me. That's better. It's an old chair. But I don't think I have room for a DX racer. Angela tells Leah that with Brooklyn gone, Chelsea will fall apart. Leah thinks that Chelsea will do better with Brooklyn gone. So Leah is one of the few people who is actively pro let's get rid of Chelsea. She feels more betrayed by Chelsea than Brooklyn. I don't think she loves Brooklyn too much, but it feels like she sees Chelsea as more of the head of the snake, whereas Tucker has outright called Brooklyn Medusa. Quinn does a camera talk. He tells us that Joseph is just playing his game, but better, which is true. Joseph has taken over the superfan role. He has taken over his part in a trio with Kimo and T-Core. He has even taken his relationship with Leah. Quinn does say that he is still gunning for Tucker, which is not surprising. Because why wouldn't he be? He has every possible Big Brother reason under the sun to go after Tucker. He's a huge threat. He's betrayed him. He's worked to get him out. He's been a jerk to him. Kimo laments to T-Core that Tucker never checked in on him. And they start to wonder if they have the numbers to flip on Cam. They talk to Rabina, and she wants to keep Chelsea over Cam, but she wants to talk to Tucker first. Angela and Tucker talk, and they make a final two called The Unexpected. Supposedly. I'm still not 100% sure, like, that's, like, officially their target name, or if that's just something Angela said. Tucker says no one would suspect them working with Mackenzie. Tucker also suggests uh, a group of four, the two of them, Leah, and Joseph. Angela says there's no one else she'd rather play with. Angela did say preseason, and this is another reason that I've never really been on the Angela train, but she said preseason she wanted to be like Cody Cauliflower. And if you're going to be Cody Cauliflower, then you have to have a Derek, and Tucker is her Derek. Angela is going to be totally fine with playing for second place if it means coming in second to Tucker. Joseph and Angela talk. Joseph tells Angela they have a lot in common, but they were just sort of on opposite sides of the house. Angela says, not anymore. And they both agree that they trust Leah. And it seems like Angela might actually finally be bonding with Joseph after constantly pushing him away. She pushed away the collective when it was originally pushed to her. And then when Joseph joined 6th Avenue, she still didn't really want much to do with him. But now it's like, okay, we might actually have a bond going here. And I've said this before, Angela needs to have more people because Tucker is probably going to get backdoored first chance they get. If they get the chance. I mean, honestly, the odds, the longer they keep the AI arena, the higher Tucker's odds are of getting his chip picked for the veto anyway. But in the event that Tucker does leave, it's good for Angela to finally be working on some other options. Quinn has noticed how close Tucker and Joseph are. Tells Joseph he's not sure about working with Tucker because Tucker doesn't seem to like him. Yeah, Tucker really doesn't. I mean, they both seem to be enjoying the rivalry. I feel like they'll probably be friends after, but for now they are most definitely sworn enemies. Chelsea and Joseph talk about the collective. She apologizes for pushing him out of the power structure. Joseph later feels she's rational and trustworthy, and might be okay with keeping her over Cam. Quinn tells Brooklyn she really needs to win the AI arena because she's in trouble. He also tells Chelsea she has the votes to stay. Tucker and Rabina, this was a big deal. They get caught holding hands. And Leah talks a lot, at length, about how she doesn't care. Because clearly, when you don't care about something, you talk about it for a long time. I think I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Sorry about that. So Leah is venting to Joseph about Tucker and Rabina holding hands, and you gotta remember, Joseph has a crush on her. And she's lamenting that her crush Tucker is having having something with Rabina. So this is the Love Island season, truly. Quinn also talks to Tikor and Kimo about Tucker and Rabina holding hands. Tikor says Tucker is fairly hypocritical for being so against people having final twos when he clearly has a few. Fair point. Kimo talks to Angela about the vote. Angela seemingly is down to keep Chelsea, but she's yet to talk to Tucker about it, and with how tight she is with him, he could probably talk her out of it fairly easily. Rabina tells Tucker about the plan to keep Chelsea. She says Cam is the bigger physical threat. Tucker says no, because Brooklyn and Chelsea need to be broken up, otherwise they'll regain power. Rabina eventually relents, but says he needs to talk to a few others about it. And nothing is really resolved before they start making out, which, good for the Tubina shippers, but not so great for people who wanted to hear more game talk on the matter. Tikor and Kimo try to convince Leah to flip and keep Chelsea. Leah is very against it, since she doesn't like Chelsea, due to how much she's trash talked Leah throughout this game. Tucker shoots down the vote flip to Tikor, Kimo, and Rabina. He just is like, nope, we're not we're not doing that. Afterwards, Tikor asks Rabina if they're just gonna roll over. Then Tucker comes back. Talk about it again. Tikor finally speaks up a little more. But she just says that she made a pact with Chelsea that they would protect each other until jury. And then from there, they start talking about Final Four alliance names. And they land on Friends with four Z's. Yep. And then afterwards, Tikor again says that she doesn't like rolling over. And Rabina's like, well, you should have spoken up a little more. Like, she just said she wanted to keep Chelsea, but she didn't really push too hard on why Cam should be the one to lead. It's just, it's nice to see someone actually finally telling Tikor to, be a little more forceful with her words. Leah warns Cam that they're trying to flip the vote on him, and he is very nonplussed because he's Cam. Cam has just been vibing for 5 weeks now. Like, on some level, I respect it because I would love to be as unbothered in my regular life as Cam is in the Big Brother house, but I'm not there. And I do envy him for that, but at the same time, it's like, do something, buddy. The decision seems to be to go forward with the flip, with or without Tucker. Now, bear in mind, this is only in the event of Chelsea versus Cam. So there's only a 1 in 3 chance of that even happening. And it's like Brooklyn is likely leaving either way, definitely leaving over Chelsea. Now, here's what I wanted to have happen going into the AI arena. I wanted Cam to win it because if he did, there would be no question Brooklyn would be leaving over Chelsea. And Rabina would have the opportunity to be in the position that Brooklyn was to her last week when Brooklyn just said, you don't have the votes, you're leaving. Cam winning the AI arena would allow that to be flipped. Rabina could look at Brooklyn and say, "You don't have the votes to stay. I'm sorry." So that's what I wanted because you know I don't like being accused of not being Team Fun feeds. I'm Team Fun live episode on top of Team Fun feeds. So we get to the eviction, and we get to see the aftermath of the veto meeting. Chelsea calls Joseph and Quinn snakes for ratting the alliances out. Tucker tells Cam he's safe no matter what. And it's like, stand by. Chelsea accuses Quinn of directly telling Tucker, but he says that he only told T-Core and Kimo. And Chelsea has a DR where she says, like I was suspecting, she wants to slap him, but she can't because she needs his vote. And also, if she slapped him, she would be removed from the game for physically assaulting another player, which we can't do. So yeah, good on her for not slapping him, I guess. She has another diary room saying she wants Quinn and Joseph out more than Tucker and Rabina at this point. Tikor and Rabina have DRs about 6th Avenue worrying about Tucker spending time with non-alliance members. Like they show him hanging out with MJ and Leah. MJ's Mackenzie, in case you forgot. MJ's what it is in my phone, but like people actually call her MJ in the show too. And Taryn calls her MJ. But yeah, they show Tucker hanging out with them and also hanging out with Cam. Then we get a T-Core and Kimo segment about trying to get the votes to flip against Cam. Quinn has a diary room segment talking about wanting to get back in the good graces of the Visionaries. His relationship with T-Core and Kimo has been pretty strained for a while now. Rabina is shown telling Tucker about the plan to, to flip on Cam. He doesn't like it. Rabina has a DR about wanting to play her own game. Then we get to the AI arena. Digital decryption. So there are words going by on the screen that are a puzzle they have to decipher. And they have to go into this. They have their own private areas to do their own puzzles, and they have to match certain things in a box. They have to put them up on these boards to to get the right thing. But they have a lot of stuff in there that doesn't go on the board. And this took a while, and the game got progressively easier. Now, I'll admit I was having some trouble playing along, but at the same time, it was cutting between like the screens and the players, so I had a reason for taking a while to get the answers, but they didn't have that excuse. By the end, it was just two of them were straight up on the board like normal, and the other one was up there but written backwards. And it's like, come on, people. So this goes on for a while, and it's getting increasingly awkward. I did notice that Brooklyn made probably a fatal mistake. She mistook an astronaut holding a bouquet of flowers for the burger bouquet, which was just a bouquet, but instead of flowers, it was burgers. That's what she needed to get, but she saw a bouquet and she saw the astronaut holding the flowers, and that that might have done her in. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I think this is coming down to Chelsea and Cam at this point. But Chelsea wins. I did not get my wish of Cam winning and Rabina swapping places with Brooklyn from last week. But Chelsea wins, and I'm still thinking Brooklyn is probably in some serious trouble. Brooklyn talks to T-Core and Kimo privately and then starts begging openly. She says that she's a shield and a target and will gun for the big bad wolf, that is Tucker. She's like, I will put him up. And Tucker's like, and I'll take myself off. And I'm like, do any of these people know about backdooring? Like, were they not told that they can do that? Tucker technically was backdoored week one. He was the renom. Backdoored means you got taken out, but he was the renom the first time, week two. He willingly went up against Angela and Lisa, feeling confident that he could win, and he was right to be confident. He smoked them. But yeah, it's like, I get the AI arena is still a thing and he'll have the chance anyway, but you could at least not give him the veto competition to save himself. So we get to the vote. Chelsea, despite what she said before, votes to evict Cam, and everyone else votes to evict Brooklyn. So Brooklyn leaves 8-1. She tells Tucker, "See you soon." And we get confirmation that the AI arena is not over yet, so probably not Brooklyn. He's probably going to be okay. And there's no mention of this being when the jury phase starts, so it's looking like we're still doing the 7-person jury, which I'm not a big fan of. I I just I came in with the 9-person jury. That was where I started watching Big Brother, so it's what I'm used to. So yeah, maybe next year. And they actually show the goodbye messages on the episode this time instead of just online later. And there's one de, uh, there's one goodbye message, one that made them decide to put this on TV. I'm positive. Angela's. You shouldn't have eaten my freaking charcuterie board. Brooklyn's like, she was a have not, and like it's gonna go bad. It wasn't the expiration date, I'm guessing. So yeah, they just had to put Angela's on TV. The feeds go down for a while, and then, unlike the last couple weeks, they don't come back until after the HOH has been crowned. Now, seemingly, it was a quiz, and apparently, it only lasted 3 questions. But the winner and the new HOH is T-Core. I gotta be honest, I thought T-Core would go this whole game without winning anything, but I'm very happy she did because I do really like her as a person, even if sometimes her indecision can be a little frustrating. Like even through all of that, I still love her, and I was very happy to hear that she won. Like I woke up this morning to it, and it was a good way to wake up. Everyone is super happy for T-Core that she won. Rabina in particular is a bawling mess anytime T-Core's name even comes up. So that does speak very highly of T-Core's social game. But at the same time, if she's in good with everybody, that means she's going to have to hurt some feelings this week because she's got to put up 3 people still. This actually would have been a good time to get rid of the AA arena, to only make it 2 people so that T-Core would have an easier time. So T-Core talks to Kimo. They talk through slurping ramen, and mouth sounds are like my least favorite thing in the world. Chewing, slurping, any of it. I hate it. T-Core is not sure about what to do, but she wonders if Tucker would volunteer again. She says Kimo, Rabina, and Chelsea are safe. Kimo suggests the people outside of their alliances, which leaves Cam, Leah, and Mackenzie. And T-Core does not want to put any of them up. Oh, bless her heart. Bless her heart. Sometimes I think T-Core is too good for this game. I mean, too good of a person. You can never be too good of a player for this game, but you could be too good of a person. Tucker tells Kimo he's thinking of volunteering. But Kimo actually suggests that he not do that. This thing that Kimo's right hand wants to have happen, he's trying to actively discourage it. That's a choice. Cam tells Chelsea that Tucker, T-Core, Kimo, and Rabina are in alliance. Well, somebody woke up and started playing. I guess, sometimes getting nominated wakes you up. But even being nominated last week didn't really seem to do much for him. But I guess maybe surviving an eviction. I mean, he just had one vote cast against him, but that was enough apparently. Cam is actually starting to pay attention to some things that are happening in the house. That was like good information that he told to the right person to hear it. Tucker tells T-Core she's a legend for winning, and he'll be a pawn if need be. So now T-Core is thinking about it again. This is what she wanted. T-Core and Angela talk. Angela is kind of tricked into saying this, but she says that Quinn, Chelsea, and Leah are her picks for the biggest threats in the house. Leah suggests Mackenzie as a nominee because these two, they don't like each other anymore. If they ever did. I'm tired of even bringing it up because it kind of goes without saying at this point because I've talked about it so many times. I feel like every update I'm talking about a further divide between Leah and Mackenzie. So just from now on, assume they don't like each other unless something else happens. But yeah, Leah suggests Mackenzie as a nominee. She wishes Rabina was playing an individual game, and she also wishes Brooklyn stayed. Not for nothing, but Leah was one of the votes to evict Brooklyn. So, you know, she could have just voted Cam out, and I feel like a lot of people were hesitant to get rid of Brooklyn. I feel like if the people who were hesitant to get rid of Brooklyn actually just voted out Cam, it would have been a much closer vote. T-Core admits to Cam that he would have left if he was next to Chelsea. Again, telling him that. A choice. Especially now that he's actually alert and playing the game. Joseph tells Rabina that Chelsea should be a pawn instead of Leah because she voted against the house, but tells Rabina that she should be the one to tell T-Core. Like, it shouldn't come from him. He then goes on to pitch it to T-Core himself anyway. Says that Chelsea, Cam, and Mackenzie makes sense. T-Core doesn't like it. She says Tucker volunteered and she doesn't want to put up Cam. But it's like, T-Core, you got to put up somebody. In fact, you got to put up three people. So you gotta put your personal feelings aside every now and then. Sorry. Okay. Tikor tells Quinn that Mackenzie is an option. Tikor again says that Cam isn't an option for her, but Quinn says Cam wouldn't really mind going up. And it's at this point Tikor is starting to settle for him, Mackenzie, and Tucker. Tikor talks to Mackenzie. Mackenzie says that she trusts her, Kimo, Tucker, and Rabina. Because Mackenzie knows about the underdogs, but she doesn't know that they are now friends with four Z's. She says that she would put up Quinn, and the conversation goes so well that Tikor tells Kimo she thinks they can work with her. So, just further making this difficult for Tikor. Kimo and Quinn talk about not trusting Joseph much right now because they don't love his closeness to Leah. Leah has noticed that Tucker has a now open box of condoms. She noticed it before and it wasn't open. Now it's open. And she also noticed that Rabina did not sleep in her bed last night. So, apparently, yeah. Tucker and Rabina, they've been suspected together for a while. And now some people are really starting to catch on. All right, this is the last note I made, and I wanted to save this for last. Tucker tells Kimo now that he doesn't want to go up, and he talks about Leah having 4 incidents that required her being talked to by production. Tikor and Rabina mention something about race, like some kind of racial thing. And the feeds go down. And when I started this stream, they still haven't come back. Now, personally, I think this is just another instance, like with the Angela situation a couple weeks back, of production just not handling this kind of situation well. They just, the way they handle it makes it look so much worse. It's like, I know people like to blame production for people saying bad things. And yes, on some level, they are responsible for casting these people, maybe if they didn't do enough research on them. But at the end of the day, the person said what they said, and if the show actually holds them accountable, then that's good for the show. Like, I can't believe I did not want to talk about BB25 at all when I started covering this season. But now I have to talk about it again, and I have to talk about the person I want to talk about the least, which after last season is saying something. I got to talk about Luke now. When he said what he said, they throw him out. That was the right thing to do. It was unfortunate that it happened, but Big Brother did the right thing. It was unfortunate that it happened. And yes, maybe they shouldn't have cast him. Personally, I don't know what he brought to the show in the first place. But they did the right thing. And hiding whatever's going on is not the right thing. Like, maybe nothing's going on, and we're making all these bad accusations about Leah. Maybe we're thinking she's something she's not. Not for nothing, though. She and Luke are both from Florida, so just saying. Now, I will throw Leah a bit of a bone here. I'll give her a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. The AI instigator thing is starting this week. So, it's possible that that's why the feeds are down. But it's wild that they would be down for this long. So, to be determined, I guess. I'm gonna check online, see if the feeds are back, and also take a sip of water because I have the hiccups. Sorry, I got a notification. Gotta check it. Oh, hey, I got a new follower. All right, nothing on my main timeline, which means that Leah hasn't been expelled yet, or at least we don't know if she has. Anything on BB updates? Nope. Hamster watch? No, not really. How about reality barbecue? All I got from Hamster Watch was that they waded through the hashtag and now they feel like they need a shower. Comforting. All right, well, I guess I'll check the hashtag just to see. All right, nothing. Just still a lot of nothing. I mean, eventually we'll probably get them back. We'll see who the nominees are. I mean, maybe part of this instigator twist is whoever gets picked gets to nominate somebody. Who knows? I still can't imagine this twist is going to be too relevant to the game, though. All right, that'll do it for this stream. Thank you for watching. You can follow me on Twitch at NickGrimesYT. I have links to my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel there. I upload all my streams to YouTube so you can catch up and you can just get my thoughts on Big Brother stuff as it happens. So, yeah, follow me there. And that will do it for this stream. I will see you